I am continuing to try and only spend $125 a week on groceries. So in today's weekly grocery haul, I just have about half of the things that I needed to pick up. I went to the store for perishables, so let me tell you what I picked up and how much they were. And then we'll talk about the other things that we're going to do today. This video is brought to you by Aprondiva. Pretty and practical. We believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. Visit us at www.aprondiva.com. I am continuing to wear my thankful apron because I am just further struck by how much I have to be thankful for. And whereas I may not have been pleased with the prices that I had to purchase from today, I am thoroughly grateful that I have the resources to shop for what I need and not have to pinch pennies or do without. So let me just start there. I am thankful for what I'm able to purchase. So I want to talk to my young homemakers out there in particular because I am trying to encourage them as they do their weekly shopping or their bi-weekly shopping or their monthly shopping to continue to pick up extra things for their extended pantry. I was listening to the news today and food prices have gone up. Well, inflation for food prices is up, I believe it was 8.6%. We were talking about 7% a couple of months ago, but today food prices are up about 8.6%. So that is really hitting our homemakers hard in the pocket, particularly our young homemakers who don't have as much, we'll say, expendable or disposable resources. So I wanted to start there. So I had been watching the video by my friend Mary at Mary's Nest, and she had done a shopping haul at Walmart. And it is just so funny that both of us are doing shopping hauls at places where we don't normally shop. I had planned to do Walmart this week. I did save a lot last week. If you missed that video, I will link it with an iCard above. But this week, my goal was to go to Walmart. And when I saw Mary's video, her Walmart had whole chickens for 94 cents a pound. And that video just came out a couple of days ago, so I thought, oh, I'm going to go to Walmart after church today to see if our Walmart has chickens for 94 cents a pound. Well, they did not. This is one of the whole chickens that I pick up, and my goal is to try to pick up at least 4 whole chickens a month to put in the freezer. This one was $6.51, and it is a little over 5 pounds. And this one is $8.07, and it is a little over 6.5 pounds. So those are my 2 chickens for this week. So later on in the month, I'll pick up 2 more. But here's the thing. There was a sign right in front of the poultry counter that said twin chickens $1 per pound. And I didn't see those. All I saw was these, and they were $1.24 a pound. So I knocked on the door to the employee area, and the meat lady came out, and I asked her about those twin chickens. And she said, we don't have any. We didn't get any in on our delivery. And I did ask, well, can you sell me 2 of these at the twin chicken price since I bought 2? And she said, no. The twin chickens, when they come in already wrapped up, paired together as twin chickens, and then the $1 per pound price is already on them. So I went ahead and bought 2 chickens at the $1.24 price. Now, here's the other thing. On that same news channel, they said that there is a bird flu that is going around. And it hasn't hit all parts of the country yet. It has been like across the seas and all of that. And it has been starting in different places across the country. Has not hit Indiana yet, because when I looked at the map, I made a point to see, was Indiana lit up? So Indiana has not had the bird flu as of yet, at least as of that particular news report. So So they said to expect chicken or poultry and egg prices to go up about 3 to 3.5%. So last grocery haul, when I got whole chickens, and I got them at Save-A-Lot at $1.19 a pound, and I think it was $1.19. I don't remember now, but it was somewhere around $1.19 a pound, maybe $1.15 a pound. But my last ones at Kroger's had definitely been $1.19 a pound. These chickens were $1.24 a pound. And so if you take 3% of $1.19, that's about 4 cents. So these chickens were $1.24, which is right in that up 3% range. Eggs were about $2.28, and I got these were like 18 eggs, so I don't know what that is like per egg. I didn't take a peek at that, but they were about $2.28 for this carton of 12.5 eggs. So, and I didn't pull out my slip from last time to see if eggs are up, so there's that. And I particularly needed perishables today, so I went to get the chicken. I also went to get oil. We were out of olive oil, or almost out, and my husband wanted me to pick up some more. Before I couldn't get him to use it, he wanted to use peanut oil. Didn't want to use the vegetable oil. Peanut oil was the best for frying his fish. Well, now I got him to use the olive oil, and he's almost used it up. And he says, get some more of that olive oil. It's pretty darn good with the fish. So I did check to see if you're frying, what's the best olive oil to get. Do you need extra virgin olive oil, the extra virgin olive oil? And the answer to that question was no. If you're just frying different foods, then regular olive oil will work. Now, if you're trying to deep fry, olive oil may not be your best bet because you may not be able to get to the right heat point. It may not get high enough, that kind of thing. But for the kind of frying that we typically do, this will work. Now, I've been putting off buying chocolate at the store. Chocolate has just been so high. I've just been refusing to pay the prices, and it's not going down. And one of the things that the lady did say on the news today was, these prices are not going down, expect them to go up. So I thought, okay, I'm going to buy chocolate today. And this bag of Reese's miniature cups was like $10.28, $10.50, somewhere in there. Let's see. $10.98. So this bag of Reese's chocolate was $10.98. I do love Reese's miniature cups. I love chocolate and almost anything with chocolate and peanut butter and other stuff. So I went ahead and got these. I figured with Easter coming, maybe chocolate would be down a little bit. We will see. So this is going on my extended pantry shelf. I'm not going to open it today. I promise I'm not going to open it today. It is going on my extended pantry shelf. The other thing I picked up was milk. We were out of milk, and I thought, let me go ahead and get some. There's a couple things I want to make that require milk. I was even out of milk on my extended pantry shelf, so all my boxes of shelf-stable milk I've used up. So I picked up this. I also needed some heavy whipping cream, and I just got the Walmart brand, which was great value. And this heavy whipping cream was $1.97, I believe, for this. They had one that was like a quart, but I didn't need that much. I just needed about this size. So this was $1.97. And then the other primary things that I went for were these fresh peppers. I needed some yellow peppers and some red peppers because I'm going to make that chicken jollof again. Oh my goodness. If you missed the video where I made the chicken jollof, you have to check it out. It was absolutely delicious, and I'm going to make it again for today's dinner. So I needed some peppers, so I picked these up. These peppers were $1.38 each. The green pepper was 77 cents a piece, but these yellow peppers and the red peppers were $1.38 each. So I went ahead and got those. I can't wait till peppers and those kind of things come in and the prices go down, hopefully, because then I'm going to really stock up. I also picked up some ice cream. We were out of that. And then my husband likes these super greens, you know, so this is like a little blend of Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kohlrabi, broccoli, carrots, and kale. And I think what I'll do is I'll give it a light stir fry, and then we'll have it with some chicken or something. So I spent a total of $64.57, which is just a little over half of this week's grocery money. So I can go back another time to pick up some other things that I may need. And I already know there are things that I need, but I went after church, so I didn't have my list with me. So I just grabbed the things that I absolutely knew I had to have today. So I will be going back, and I'll bring that other half of the grocery haul to show you, and I think I'll probably share it with this video. If not, I'll share it another time. So those were the grocery items that I wanted to show you, but there are a couple of things that I do want to share with you. So young moms, please take heed. So let me get these groceries out of the way and then I'll come right back. Now to my young homemakers out there, and my seasoned homemakers as well, if you have not tipped onto this particular little trick. So as inflation continues to go up, we have to be more resourceful with our resources. So what I want to show you right here is where I made some orange powder out of some orange peel. One of my husband's friends sent us a box of fruit from Florida. There were a bunch of oranges, a bunch of cuties, navel oranges, cutie oranges, and then grapefruit. And so when we ate the cuties, I had him save the peel, and then I dried them, and then I ground them up and made this orange powder, and it's got such a nice strong orange fragrance and flavor, and I can use this in baking. This is some orange peel that I also saved, and you can see it. And what I did was when we eat an orange, before we eat it, I'll wash it off first, and then I will take this grater and then I just do that. And it just peels. It just takes the peeling off. But you can see how the strips just come off, and then I just let it sit on the counter for 3 or 4 days and they dried, and then I put them in a jar. And these dried orange peels can last in an airtight jar in a cool, dark place for about a month, maybe a little longer. If you need to, you can put some in the freezer. But I'm really trying to move to a no-waste kitchen, and so rather than pitching these and then having to buy orange peel in a spice jar from Kroger, I'm trying to preserve and save my own. So I wanted to share that with you, and I'll finish peeling this orange and in a little bit. And I even laid the grater up there on the top of those jars so that my husband, when he gets an orange, it's right there. He can see it. He can just kind of peel it, and they can go on the plate, and then I can get them and dry it later. And it worked out so well, particularly after I burned up 3 sets of orange peels trying to dry them in the oven. This way was perfect. So there's that. The other thing is that I made some crackers, and again, I learned how to make crackers from my friend Mary at Mary's Nest. So please, if you've not checked out her channel, go over there and check her out and tell her Denise sent you. But I made these crackers, and these are the fruit and nut crackers. They are absolutely delicious. My husband is really enjoying them. And they taste really good. So I made this batch of crackers. I also made a batch of herb crackers, and they're delicious as well. They smell so good too. I got them all bagged up. But they're perfect with whatever you need crackers for. And then these are the cheddar cheese crackers, and oh my goodness, were these delicious as well. I'll put some of them on a plate so that I can bring you up and let you have a real close look at them as well. But they were so good. So I made crackers, and so young moms, you can make crackers. As we know, wheat prices are going up, crackers have been in short supply, so you can make your crackers. So I wanted you to think about that. And then the other thing, I was about to pitch some cookies. These were some old stale cookies that I had picked up at Kroger. They were in the cookie jar, and I was just about to dump them when I remembered in my new cookbook, my cookbook that's, what our grandmothers cooked during World War II, there was a recipe in there for crumb cake where they used the crumbs and those kind of things left over from cakes and cookies to make a dessert. So I put these cookies in this freezer bag. There's only about 6 of them, but I've got it marked stale cookies, and when I get enough, I'm going to make some kind of a dessert with those. So I wanted to make sure my young homemakers took advantage of those kinds of things to extend your food budget. One other thing, as I encourage you to begin to make sheet pan meals or freezer meals or different things like that, make ahead meals so that you can stay on top of things, you need to have the right kind of containers to be able to do that. So now this is a little Pyrex container that I picked up, probably Walmart, Target, I don't know, I've had it for a while. But you need to make sure you've got containers such as this in your home. This is just a little Pyrex dish. They're not very expensive at all. And you can put enough of a serving in here, probably that would say serve a family of 4. And then you put the lid on it. It goes in the freezer. Take it out of the freezer early in the morning or before you go to work. Set it in the fridge so it can start to thaw. And what I always do too is I'll maybe set it in a small amount of water just to kind of help bring it up to room temperature. And then once you take the lid off, this can go right into the oven. But again, you want to try to bring it up to temperature just a little bit. Some other containers that I have that allow me to do that are these Rubbermaid Brilliance containers. And I might have talked about these before, but I absolutely love them. This is the smaller size. It's about, I think, 2 cups. This one's 2.5 cups, and nice size. Again, you can family size something in here. This will probably do for a family of maybe 3. And then these lids are interchangeable for the different sizes, but the mouth of them are the same. And you put the lid on, pop it in your freezer. You can also microwave and just have the lids up like that. There's like little vents here on the side that allow it to vent. And then you can pop that in the microwave, or, as always, take the lid off and pop it in the oven. This is the 2.5 cup one. This is the 4 cup one. So when I fill this one, say with chili or soup or something like that, this is enough for the hubby and I for at least 2, if not 3 meals, depending upon what it is. But for a family of 4 or 5, then one of them would be fine. Chili, soup, mac and cheese, other casseroles fit in here just fine. You could probably even put a meatloaf that you've cooked in here and let it freeze it in this, and then when you get ready to heat it up for dinner, just take it out. And I really like these because of the way they've got these little gaskets around to kind of help to seal everything nice and fresh. So, young homemakers, if you don't have some dishes like these so that you can put meals in the freezer, please pick some up. So, and I like the way they stack as well. So I picked up some more just a couple of days ago. Now these are the plastic ones. So these are the ones that I use more for storage. And you can see by looking in my pantry over here, I've got some of them out in the fridge with other things, but I keep them stacked right in there. And it's just a nice way to kind of help store things. So I use this size quite a bit. This particular size will hold a can of like corn or green beans or something like that. So let's say you had corn, green beans, or whatever, or rice left over. You can put enough in here that could probably be a nice little side dish for as an accompaniment for your meal. So I picked up these, and I need to wash them. So let me put them over there. And then this is another common size that I use. And this is enough for, like, if I, let's say I had rice or something left over, beans, mac and cheese, whatever. Again, it holds about 2.5 cups. These are the same size. This one goes in the freezer, this one goes in the fridge and in my pantry. So I use this one more for storage. But notice, The lids are all the same size. So there's that. So these have got to get washed so that I can use them. But this one is glass. This is the one that's going to go in the freezer and can also go in the oven. And whereas I have one this size for storage, I didn't have one this size that I could pop in the freezer. So I got this one today. If you're interested in some things like this, I will link them in my Amazon store because that's where I got most of these. And so yeah, these are some things you definitely want to pick up. Now, the other thing I'm going to do on this video is I'm going to cut up those chickens and I'm going to cut one of them in half and put it in the freezer that way. And then the other one I'm going to cut into pieces. Whereas I did show how to cut up a chicken on my last grocery haul, it was a live stream and then probably some of the video wasn't close enough that people could see it. So since I'm doing this on video and rather than live, I can adjust the camera and bring it up so that you can get a good eye view of what I'm doing. So I'm going to get these out of the way and get them put away. And these as well. And then I'll get that chicken cut up and get it put away, and then we'll make some biscuits. We'll remove the outer bag. This chicken is half frozen. There are giblets here in the center. I'll pull all of this out, all this fat off. And neck, gizzards, whatever. Pull the fat off. These chickens were frozen at Walmart. And now I'm just going to cut it. There you go. You can see it's cut in half. Here's one half. And this will be perfect for roasting for a Sunday dinner, particularly for us. Now once again, just going to cut right down the middle. And if you were going to roast the chicken, you could just cut it like that and you could roast it open like that, but that's for another day. And now I'm going to cut. The important thing is you want to make sure you've got a nice sharp knife. And then here's another half. And I'm going to freeze those just like that. This one I'll cut into pieces. So now we're going to take this half and we're going to cut it into quarters. And I'm going to bring my knife like right down the middle there. So here's a chicken quarter. And now we're going to cut the leg. See the joint right there? We're cutting right through the joint.
So here's the leg. This is the thigh, and it's pretty large. And then here's the breast and the wing. So we're going to cut right there at the joint of the wing. And then, now the wing is off. And this breast is pretty large. So what I'm going to do is cut the breast into a couple pieces. And I think I'm going to take the skin off of this just so you can see it a little better. Here's one small little piece of the breast right here. And this is a large piece of the breast. Here's a small piece of the breast like the tenderloin. It's attached to a part of the back. And I always make a third little cut right there. So here's a small piece of the chicken breast. Here's another small piece. And then this is just a small piece of breast here, but mostly this is the back. And I'll just get the skin off of there. And then I'll cook this part as well. And these are the chicken neck, the giblets and that kind of thing. I'll put these in a freezer bag, and then I can use them for when I want to make gravy or something like that. Now notice I'm cleaning up with my paper towels, not my dishcloth, not my Swedish dishcloth. I am using paper towels to clean out the sink, because that way I can dispose of them once I'm done. I like to use the Viva cloth-like paper towels. but I'm spraying the handle of the faucet as well as the faucet itself. And I always like to wipe down my vacuum sealer with my Clorox kitchen cleanup as well. And now I will clean up the sink. And yes, my young homemakers, this is necessary. Whenever you're working with raw poultry or any other raw meat in your sink, you want to do a good cleanup with your Clorox kitchen cleanup or something similar. I grew up using Clorox, and when they made a kitchen cleaner, I just adapted that. I also want to clean off my soap dispenser because I touched it a couple of times while I was working. One last hand wash, at least for this part of the cleanup. Now I'll get rid of this dish towel.
Now these biscuits are made with just 2 ingredients, and everybody's got a 2-ingredient biscuit recipe, and the star of the show is your self-rising flour because it's got whatever agents in it that you need to get the biscuits to rise. You don't have to add anything else. So it's got the salt and everything in there that is needed for the most part. And then you need some heavy cream. Now you can use milk if you don't have heavy cream, but the heavy cream just does add a little bit extra to your biscuit mix. So I'm going to add 2 cups. Of the self-rising flour, and then I'm going to add 2 cups of the heavy cream. Now I'm going to flour my hands just a little bit. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit on top of that too because it's pretty moist. So of course you're doing this with clean hands. So I've given my hands a good washing. And I'm going to scrape all of this out of the bowl. That could be half a biscuit. Now just a little bit of flour on my board. And now I'm just going to just kind of knead this just a little bit. I'm just kind of rolling it over onto itself. And the dough is nice and elastic. And how much do you do this? Well, it all depends on how it feels. But it feels nice and loose. It's holding together very nicely. So probably 10, 15 times ought to be good. And now that it feels so good, I'm going to form a nice little ball.
And then we're going to roll it out. So before I get that rolled out, I'm going to get my pan ready. I'm going to use this black skillet that I've got. That's what my grandma always did. She always used a black skillet, cast iron skillet. So I'm going to use this skillet and I'm going to butter it. So I'm going to butter the skillet really well. And that just adds another layer of flavor. And then I've got this old rolling pin. So I'm going to flour my rolling pin. I'll get my dough back over here in front of me. And I'll just that towel under there just helps to keep the board from rolling away. And notice I'm just rolling all around, just different directions to get it to a nice little circle. And I want to get it to be about 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. I don't like my biscuits to be too thin. I like them nice and thick. And I've got a double-sided biscuit cutter. It's Tupperware. I've had it forever. But you can buy other biscuit cutters on Amazon. I'll link a couple in the description box. And if you don't have a biscuit cutter, you can use a glass. Let me just get one out. Let's say you don't have a biscuit cutter, but you can use a glass or something like that. And I'll just show you how that works. And there you go. And I'm cutting them as close together as I can because I don't want to have to roll them out too much. The more you have to roll them out and deal with them, the tougher the flour or the dough gets. That makes them a little bit tough. So you don't want to have to deal with them too much. So now, I'm gonna knead it again, and this dough just feels amazing. It's nice and moist, but it's not too wet or too damp. So for you young homemakers out there, my young housewives and my young housemen, you need to make sure you've got a rolling pin and then a board that you can roll things out on, or you can always use your counter. My kitchen counter has all these little nubbies in it, so I have to really scrub it when I roll things out in it. So I prefer to use a board. Going to have to get another pan out to finish these up. So I've got 6 here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I've got about a dozen in here and then 6 here. So let me get out a cake pan to put on. So we're going to give this pan a good buttering. Now let's get these in the oven. I've got the oven set for 400. So there we go.
middle rack. And in case you're wondering what that is at the bottom of my oven, it is my oven liner. So now I'm going to bake those in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. There is a recipe here on the back of the flour bag, and you can find all different kinds of recipes, and some will say to bake them at 400, some will say to bake them at 450. My oven tends to run a little hot, and I have been known to burn up a biscuit. So I tend to set the oven just a little bit lower and keep a close eye on them so that I don't burn them up. So I'll get this cleaned up while we're waiting for those to come out. You might have noticed I switched my aprons, and I like to do that. I've got a lot of them, and I like to wear different ones. And I really like to wear this one when I'm baking. I don't know why. I just feel like I'm close to my grandma when I'm wearing this apron when I'm baking, because she always had aprons that were kind of similar to this particular style. So. The timer just went off, so let's check them. These certainly look like they're ready to come out. These are a little bigger. I don't think they're quite ready yet, so I'm going to give it another minute and a half for those. So these smaller ones, though, are definitely done. Look how nicely brown they are. So let's brush their tops with a little butter. This looks like a misfit biscuit. Look at there. Let's break this one open. Oh my. The crumb in there looks amazing. And I don't think there's any better way to eat biscuits than to have a little bit of strawberry jam on the top. Delicious. Want to get a peek at the bottom. Yep. Here's that other batch. Look how nice and thick they are. And I didn't burn them up. Let's just do this the right way. I'm going to put this in the microwave. We'll do things the right way. We'll just brush that butter on. I don't want to teach you guys bad habits. Okay. So now I've got some melted butter. And I'll just brush that along the top. Okay, now let's break open one of the bigger ones. For some reason, this one is calling my name. Oh, look at there. Piping hot. Look at the crumb on it. We'll put a little butter on the inside. Oh, let me give it a taste without the jam. It's delicious, absolutely delicious without the jam. But if you got jam, why eat biscuits without jam? Delicious. So I've got our dinner ready. And I did make the chicken rice jollof. So I'll go ahead and feed the hubby. But I wanted to show my homemakers, particularly my young homemakers, one more thing. Well, two more things. I wanted to show you, number one, how I care for my cutting board. So after I've washed it and then I've let it dry for a little bit, I'll just put a little bit of cooking oil on it. And it doesn't matter what kind of cooking oil you use, canola oil, olive oil, whatever kind of cooking oil you use to cook with. I put a little bit on there and then I just spread it all over the board and just rub it in. And this is not an expensive cutting board by any means. It's just one that I picked up at Target. And you can certainly pick one up at Target, Walmart, Amazon, wherever. But it is the best cutting board that I have. And I want to take care of it. And for some of those other like really fancy dancy ones that the fancy chefs have, well, they care for theirs by oiling it down with a little bit of vegetable oil to kind of keep it nice. So I figured if it's good enough for their fancy dancy cutting board, then it's good enough for my relatively inexpensive one. And I'll probably do this about once a month. I don't do it every time I use it, but about once a month I'll just do this to kind of keep it nice. And then I'll let it sit out, like I'll just sit it up against the wall or somewhere like that. I'll let it sit out for maybe a day or so just to make sure all the oil is dry, and then I'll put it away. And then the other thing that I wanted to share with you was, again, just a few things that I want to make sure you have on hand. So you need to have a series of mixing bowls, or shall I say a set of mixing bowls. So I've got a couple. This is a mixing bowl I've had more than 30 years. I don't know if it was a wedding gift or whatever, but I've had it forever. All the other pieces that came with it have long been broken. But I did retain this one. This is a pretty good sized mixing bowl that you could mix up your biscuits and things like that. I used that clear one because I wanted you to see what I was doing, but typically I would get out one this size. The other thing is these are a set of mixing bowls, and these are vintage. These were actually my grandma's. So I think the larger one might have been broken because I don't have it, but here's the largest one now. There's the next size, there's the next size, and then there's an even smaller one. So a nice set of mixing bowls, the variety of sizes like this, is a must-have. So if you don't have those things, young homemakers, put them on your wish list. So for my young homemakers, including my housewives and my housemen, you want to have these kinds of things on your list if you don't have them. Put them on a gift list. Now these little small clear ones I just use when I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. This is one that I just picked up just because I thought it was cute, but again, it's a medium-sized mixing bowl. Other things you want to make sure you have is a good measuring cup. Now this 2-cup measure is perfect, and it's really good when I need 2 cups of something, But you can always just have a regular set of mixing cups. You've got a 1 cup measure. This one is half cup measure, 1/3, and then 1/4. And I'll link these in the description box just in case. And then of course my old standby. This is a set of Tupperware measuring cups that I've had forever. I think a couple of them are missing. I did have a green set at one time, and I've also got this orange. I don't have a complete set, but they work just fine. If you see Tupperware at a thrift shop, pick it up. And then also you want to have a nice biscuit cutter. This one, you've got 2 different sides. You could do donuts on this side, biscuits on that side, or you can also use it for cookies. Or if you don't have a biscuit cutter, you can always use a canning jar. As you saw, this makes the perfect size. And if you don't have a canning jar, a water glass will do. Perfect size. So if you think about it, it's almost the same size as this cookie cutter right here. So, and I'll fix a plate so you can see how our dinner looked with the biscuits on the side. Hang on. For more homemaking inspiration, click here. In the meantime, this is Denise Jordan saying you are not done yet. Click on the link in the comment section below and check out another of my homemaking stories, and I will see you next time. And don't forget to visit us at www.aprondiva.com.